The siren wailed through the rain-slicked streets of Chicago, cutting like a knife through the night. Dominic Thompson lay crumpled on the wet pavement, his motorcycle a twisted wreck beside him after a careless driver had sideswiped him at the intersection. Pain shot through his side, but it was the paramedic's voice that pierced the haze. "Stay still, buddy. I've got you," the man said, his strong hands pressing firmly against Dominic's abdomen to check for internal injuries. Jake Harlan, a seasoned paramedic with 10 years on the job, knelt beside the injured rider, his focus laser-sharp amid the chaos of flashing lights and gathering onlookers. As he palpated for broken ribs, his gloved hand slid lower to assess the hip, brushing unintentionally against Dominic's thigh in the urgency of the moment. Dominic winced, not just from the pain, but from the unexpected spark that jolted through him, a mix of vulnerability and something deeper, unspoken. By the time they reached Mercy Hospital, Dominic was stable, but the encounter lingered in his mind like an unfinished sentence. He was 28, a graphic designer who had moved to the city from a small Midwest town, escaping the suffocating expectations of his conservative family. Being gay wasn't something he hid anymore, but in moments like this, alone in the ER with bandages wrapping his torso, he wondered if fate had a twisted sense of humor. Jake, meanwhile, shook off the shift with his usual routine. A quick debrief with his partner, then home to his apartment where silence greeted him. At 32, he was the picture of reliability. Divorced 2 years ago after a marriage that fizzled out without kids or drama. He didn't dwell on why. Work was his anchor, saving lives his purpose. Days blurred into recovery for Dominic. Bruised ribs and a sprained wrist kept him off his bike, forcing him to rely on rideshares and friends. One evening, scrolling through his phone in his loft apartment overlooking Lake Michigan, he stumbled upon a local news clip about the accident. There was Jake, interviewed briefly. "We got him stable fast. Guy's lucky." Dominic paused the video, zooming in on Jake's face. Rugged jawline, kind eyes framed by short brown hair. Something stirred, a curiosity he couldn't shake. He searched online, finding Jake's profile on a first responders forum. A message wouldn't hurt, right? Just a thank you. Jake's inbox pinged late that night. "Hey, this is Dominic from the motorcycle crash last week. Wanted to say thanks. You probably saved my life." He replied almost immediately, "Glad you're okay. Take it easy on those ribs." What started as polite exchanges evolved into longer conversations. Dominic shared about his art, how the crash had inspired a new series on urban fragility. Jake opened up about the adrenaline of the job, the nights he couldn't sleep after losing a patient. They discovered shared tastes, craft beer, indie films, the quiet thrill of hiking in the nearby forests. Their first meeting post-accident was at a coffee shop in Wrigleyville, neutral ground. Dominic arrived early, nerves buzzing like caffeine already in his veins. Jake showed up in civilian clothes, jeans, a flannel shirt that hugged his broad shoulders. "You look better than on that stretcher," Jake joked, easing the tension. They talked for hours, laughter punctuating stories of mishaps and dreams. Dominic felt a pull, magnetic and undeniable, but he reminded himself, straight guys like Jake were off limits. Yet, as they parted, Jake's hand lingered on Dominic's shoulder a second too long. Back home, Dominic confided in his best friend, Mia, over video call. He's straight, right? Divorced, but mentions ex-wife stuff. Mia, ever the optimist, shrugged. "People surprise you. Just don't rush." But rush it did in subtle ways. Texts turned daily, then goodnight calls. Jake found himself thinking of Dominic during quiet shifts, his smile a balm against the gore of emergencies. One weekend, they hiked Starved Rock State Park, the autumn leaves crunching underfoot. As they rested on a cliff overlook, Dominic opened up about his coming out, the rejection from his parents, who still sent Bible verses in holiday cards. "They think it's a phase or worse, a sin." Jake listened, his expression softening. "That's rough. My folks are old school too, but they've mellowed. Divorce helped me see things clearer." He didn't elaborate, but Dominic sensed layers unspoken. The turning point came during a storm. Dominic's power outage left him stranded, Jake offered his couch. Arriving soaked, Dominic changed into borrowed clothes that smelled faintly of Jake's cologne. They watched a movie, shoulders brushing. In a quiet moment, Jake turned. That night of the accident, when I was checking you, I felt something. Not just professional. Dominic's heart raced. Me too. Their eyes met, and in that vulnerability, a kiss tentative, then deepening with the weight of unspoken desires. But dawn brought reality. Jake pulled back, guilt etching his face. I'm not. I've never. Dominic nodded, understanding the turmoil. This wasn't just attraction. It was a seismic shift for Jake, challenging everything he thought he knew about himself. Weeks passed in a whirlwind of stolen moments and internal battles. Jake wrestled with his identity, memories of his marriage flashing like warning signs. His ex, Sarah, had been kind, but their connection lacked fire. Now, with Dominic, every glance ignited something raw. They met in secret, dinners at hole-in-the-wall spots, walks along the Chicago River where anonymity shielded them. Dominic, patient yet aching, shared his past relationships. The college boyfriend who ghosted him after family pressure, the hookups that left him empty. I want real, Jake, but I won't push you. Jake appreciated that, but societal whispers haunted him. At the firehouse, locker room banter often veered into homophobic jokes. Don't drop the soap, boys. He laughed along outwardly, but inside, it gnawed. One evening, over pizza in Jake's apartment, tension boiled over. What are we doing? Jake asked, pacing. Dominic set down his slice, figuring it out. But if you're ashamed. Jake stopped, pulling Dominic close. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm scared of losing everything. Job, friends, family. Dominic understood. His own coming out had cost him dearly. His parents, devout Christians from rural Illinois, had cut ties initially, only relenting with strained yearly visits. The conflict escalated when Jake's sister, Emily, visited unexpectedly. A sharp-witted lawyer from New York, she sensed something off. You're different, happier. Spill. Jake deflected, but Emily pressed. Later, alone with Dominic, he vented. She'd support me, I think. But Dad? He's a retired cop. Thinks real men don't. Dominic held him. You define you, not them. Their bond deepened through shared vulnerabilities. Dominic invited Jake to an art show where his crash-inspired pieces hung. Abstract swirls of red and blue evoking sirens and pain. Jake stared, moved. This is us, he whispered. Attendees mingled, some openly gay couples holding hands. Jake felt exposed yet liberated, slipping his fingers into Dominic's briefly. But shadows loomed. At work, a colleague, Mike, overheard Jake on a call with Dominic, tone too affectionate. Girlfriend, Mike teased. Jake mumbled agreement, hating the lie. Mike, a burly veteran, later cornered him. Heard you're hanging with that gay dude from the crash. Careful, man. Reputation matters. Jake bristled. He's a friend. But the seed of doubt planted, festering. Dominic faced his own demons. His boss, a progressive type, encouraged openness, but clients from conservative firms eyed his pride pin warily. One project tanked after a client reconsidered, citing values mismatch. Dominic confided in Jake. It's everywhere, this judgment. Jake nodded, pulling him into an embrace that spoke volumes. A pivotal night arrived during a city festival. Crowds thronged Navy Pier, fireworks bursting overhead. Amid the chaos, Jake and Dominic lost themselves in the anonymity. They kissed under the lights, a moment of pure joy. But as they parted, a familiar face emerged. Jake's father, Tom, in town for a reunion. Tom's eyes widened, shock turning to anger. What the hell, son? The confrontation spilled into a nearby cafe. Tom, voice low but venomous. This isn't you. It's a phase stress from the job. Jake stood firm. No, Dad. It's me. Tom stormed out, leaving Jake shattered. Dominic comforted him, but the rift widened Jake's internal chasm. In the aftermath, Jake sought therapy, a quiet admission of his struggles. The counselor, A kind woman named Dr. Reyes helped unpack years of suppressed feelings. Attraction isn't a choice, but living authentically is. Jake shared sessions insights with Dominic, their conversations turning introspective. Yet, external pressures mounted. Emily called, supportive but probing. Dad told me, I'm here for you, but he's hurting. Jake visited home, the family dinner tense. His mother, Linda, teary. We love you, but it's hard. Tom grumbled about lifestyle choices, citing church teachings. Jake challenged, love isn't a choice, hate is. Back in Chicago, Dominic's world intersected painfully. A mutual friend hosted a party. Mike attended, drunk and confrontational. So, you're the one turning Jake? Slurs flew, fists nearly. Jake defended Dominic fiercely. Back off. He's the best thing in my life. The incident rippled through the station. Whispers of favoritism, if Jake came out. Their relationship teetered on these fault lines. Love clashing with society's unyielding norms. Dominic wondered if it was worth the pain. Jake questioned his resolve. But in quiet moments, like watching the sunrise from Dominic's balcony, they found solace in each other. As winter gripped Chicago, blanketing the city in snow, Jake and Dominic's bond faced its harshest tests. The fallout from the festival lingered. Tom's silence was a chasm, phone calls unanswered. Jake threw himself into work, pulling double shifts to numb the ache. One grueling night, he responded to a domestic call. A young man beaten by his partner, homophobia the ugly motive. Holding the victim's hand, Jake saw his own fears reflected. You'll be okay, he murmured, echoing words to Dominic months ago. Dominic, meanwhile, channeled turmoil into his art, creating a series called Hidden Touches. Subtle depictions of hands reaching in shadows, symbolizing forbidden connections. Galleries buzzed. A review praised the raw emotional undercurrent. But success brought scrutiny. An interview probed his personal life. Inspired by someone special? Dominic hedged, protecting Jake. Their dates grew clandestine, paranoia creeping in. A walk in Lincoln Park ended abruptly when Jake spotted colleagues. Can't risk it, he whispered, pulling away. Dominic's frustration boiled. Are we always hiding? Jake sighed. Until I'm ready. That readiness came incrementally. Jake confided in his partner at work, Lisa, a no-nonsense EMT. I'm gay, or bi, I don't know. But Dominic, he's it. Lisa hugged him. About time. Stations changing. Not everyone's a dinosaur. Emboldened, Jake attended a support group for LGBTQ plus first responders. Stories of isolation resonated. One man shared losing his job after coming out. Jake returned thoughtful, sharing with Dominic. It's scary, but possible. They celebrated small victories. A chaste dinner with Mia, who adored Jake. He's a keeper, she texted Dominic later. But drama intensified when Dominic's parents visited unannounced, hoping to reconnect. Over brunch, his father, Robert, eyed Jake suspiciously after introductions. Friend from work. Jake played along, but tension crackled. Later, alone, Robert lectured. We raised you better. This path leads to ruin. Dominic stood tall. Love isn't ruin, your judgment is. The visit ended in tears, his mother pleading for understanding. Jake's world cracked further at a department event. Promotions were announced. Jake was overlooked, rumors swirling about personal distractions. Mike smirked knowingly. Enraged, Jake confronted his captain. Is this because of who I am? The captain denied, but doubt seeded. That night, he broke down with Dominic. What if I lose everything for us? Dominic held him, whispering assurances, but his own insecurities surfaced. A former flame messaged, tempting with simplicity, no hiding. Dominic deleted it, committed, but the seed of doubt grew. They argued fiercely one stormy evening. I need you all in, Dominic demanded. Jake shot back. I'm trying. You don't get the pressure. Hurt words flew, doors slammed. Days of silence followed, each regretting the rift. Reconciliation came via a crisis. Dominic slipped on ice, re-injuring his wrist. At the ER, Jake's station responded, fate intervening. Seeing Dominic vulnerable reignited Jake's protectiveness. "Stay still," he said softly, echoing their first meeting. Their eyes locked, apologies unspoken but felt. Post-discharge, they talked honestly. Jake admitted, "I was straight or thought I was until you. Now it's clear." Dominic shared his fears. "I don't want to be your secret." Jake promised change. No more hiding. The high point arrived at a charity gala for first responders. Jake invited Dominic as his date, a bold step. Whispers circulated, but support emerged. Lisa toasted them. Mike approached, apologetic. "Didn't mean to be an ass. Live your life." Jake's heart soared, yet societal backlash loomed. Online trolls targeted Dominic's art after a viral post about their story. Hate mail arrived. Perverts ruining heroes. Jake's family fractured. Emily mediated, but Tom resisted. A heated call. "You're choosing this over us?" Jake replied, "I'm choosing me and hoping you'll join." Through it all, their love deepened, a beacon amid storms. Shared dreams emerged, travel, perhaps a home together. But questions lingered. Could society evolve fast enough? In intimate moments, doubts faded, replaced by certainty in each other's arms. As spring hinted at thaw, a major conflict brewed. Jake's department investigated an anonymous complaint. Alleged misconduct during Dominic's accident, twisting the hand slip into harassment. Shock rippled. Jake faced suspension pending review. The investigation hit like a freight train, upending their fragile equilibrium. Jake sat in the sterile HR office, recounting the accident. It was standard procedure, checking for injuries. But the complainant, anonymous but suspected to be Mike or a conservative colleague, twisted facts, inappropriate touch. Dominic, furious, offered to testify. "It was nothing like that. It saved me." Support rallied. Lisa gathered statements from peers praising Jake's professionalism. Emily, the lawyer, advised, "Fight it. It's discrimination." But the process dragged, stress etching lines on Jake's face. Nights were sleepless. Dominic soothed him with back rubs and quiet talks. "We'll get through," Dominic promised, though fear gnawed. The scandal leaked to local media. Paramedic accused in patient incident. Headlines sensationalized, ignoring context. Online forums debated, hero or predator? Dominic's art suffered. Galleries hesitated. His parents called, smug. "See? This lifestyle brings trouble." Dominic hung up, resolve hardening. Jake confronted Mike at the station. "Was it you?" Mike denied, but guilt flickered. Times are changing, but not everyone likes it. Jake walked away, disillusioned. Therapy intensified. Dr. Reyes probed. "This accusation, it's about more than the touch. It's fear of your truth." Jake nodded, realizing the slip symbolized his awakening. Amid turmoil, moments of grace shone. They volunteered at a LGBTQ+ youth center, sharing stories. A teen confided, "My parents kicked me out." Jake hugged him. "You're not alone." Dominic beamed, proud. Such acts reaffirmed their bond. The hearing loomed, a courtroom-like affair. Jake testified calmly, Dominic corroborating. "That night changed my life, for the better." Witnesses praised Jake's character. The board deliberated, ultimately clearing him. No evidence of misconduct. Relief washed over, but scars remained. Trust eroded at work. Post-victory, they escaped to a cabin in Wisconsin Dells, reconnecting amid nature. Hikes and fireside chats healed wounds. Jake opened fully, "I love you, Dominic. No more half measures." Dominic reciprocated, tears flowing. Their intimacy, emotional and tender, solidified commitment. Back in Chicago, Jake came out publicly via a department memo, supported by leadership pushing diversity. Reactions mixed. Cheers from allies, grumbles from holdouts. Tom called, tentative. "Saw the news. Still processing, but proud of your courage." A fragile bridge. Dominic's family thawed slightly. His mother sent a card. Thinking of you. Progress, incremental but real. Their story inspired others. A colleague confided his own struggles, thanking Jake. Yet new conflicts arose. Dominic landed a major commission, but it required travel to conservative areas. Fears of backlash surfaced. What if they find out about us? Jake reassured. We'll face it together. High drama peaked at a pride event. They marched hand in hand, banners waving. Counter-protesters shouted slurs, one throwing a bottle that grazed Jake. Adrenaline surged. Police intervened. Shaken, they retreated home. Is it worth it? Dominic whispered. Jake held him. You are. Reflection deepened their narrative. Jake pondered societal norms. Why fear love? Dominic echoed. Change starts with us. They planned advocacy, speaking at events, challenging prejudices. As summer bloomed, stability returned. Jake earned promotion. Dominic's exhibit sold out. Friends celebrated their anniversary with a rooftop party. Toasts to resilience. But undercurrents persisted. A late-night call from Emily. Dad's ill, wants to see you. Jake traveled, Dominic by his side. Hospital bedside, Tom weakened. I was wrong. Love who you love. Reconciliation mended old wounds. Their journey, fraught with drama, highlighted choices. Authenticity over conformity, love over fear. Yet questions loomed. Had society truly shifted? Or was it fragile? With reconciliation came a newfound peace. But life's complexities didn't vanish. Jake returned to shifts with renewed purpose, mentoring young EMTs on inclusivity. Everyone deserves care, no judgment. Dominic's art flourished, incorporating themes of redemption. Canvases blending chaos and harmony, mirroring their path. They moved in together, a cozy apartment in Andersonville, Chicago's queer-friendly enclave. Mornings started with coffee and kisses, evenings with debates on news, anti-LGBTQ plus bills in states, progress in cities. We're lucky here, Dominic noted. Jake agreed, but advocated, luck isn't enough, fight for all. Social circles expanded. Dinners with Lisa and her wife normalized their world. Mia introduced them to her network, fostering community. Yet, echoes of past conflicts resurfaced. A former client boycotted Dominic's work, citing moral issues. Dominic shrugged. Their loss. Jake admired his strength. A major twist arrived via a documentary offer. A filmmaker, inspired by their story, proposed featuring them. Real-life drama. Accident to love, battles won. They debated. Exposure versus privacy. It could help others, Jake argued. Dominic worried. Or invite more hate. They agreed, filming cautiously. Production unearthed emotions. Recounting the accident, Jake admitted, that slip wasn't just medical. It awakened me. Dominic shared vulnerabilities. I fell for the man who saved me. Crew captured raw moments, including a tense family interview. Tom, recovering, reflected, I almost lost my son to pride. Don't repeat my mistake. The doc premiered at a festival. Applause thunderous. Reviews praised. A poignant tale of love against odds. But backlash followed, online vitriol, threats. They hired security briefly, resilience tested anew. In quieter times, they dreamed bigger. Marriage, perhaps adoption. Kids deserve open hearts, Jake said. Dominic smiled. Like ours. Hurdles loomed. Legal battles in conservative pockets, but hope prevailed. Climax built during a national conference on first responder mental health. Jake spoke. Coming out saved my life more than any shift. Audience moved, standing ovation. Dominic watched proudly, but a protester interrupted. You're corrupting heroes. Chaos ensued. Jake de-escalated calmly. Media spun it positively. Paramedic'S stands firm. Post-event, they reflected on growth. From that rainy night to now, choices define them, embracing truth amid turmoil. Society's conflicts, from family rifts to workplace bias, fueled their drama, but love endured. As the documentary aired widely, discussions ignited. Forums debated ethics of their meeting, societal acceptance. They watched reactions, bittersweet. In the end, their story wasn't tidy, real life rarely is. Highs of connection clashed with lows of prejudice. Logic threading through emotional chaos. They chose each other daily, a testament to resilience. Was the paramedics' initial touch an accident of fate, or the spark that destiny intended?